Public schools will not be affected by the EFF-led shutdown on Monday. Well, this is simply because it is an official school holiday. This is because Tuesday is Human Rights Day. Let's find out more from Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga. Mr. Mhlanga, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Now, of course, there are some of us who are not parents who don't know that Monday would be a public holiday, but I assume that all students would be will be safe, even those schools that, for instance, would ask matriculants to come even on weekends and public holidays. Have they also been told to probably just be cautious on that particular day because of the national shutdown?
Good morning, myself. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, we published the calendar about 2 years ago, the school calendar 2 years ago, and in the calendar it did indicate that the 20th of March, because it falls on a Monday after Sunday, which is before Tuesday, which is a holiday, it was automatically going to be an official school holiday. So we were not going to be expecting our learners and our teachers and staff in school anyway on that day, whether or not there was going to be some kind of a protest, which is feared is going to cause chaos. So in that regard, we are comfortable. We're just urging our young people to be careful on that day. They shouldn't participate in activities that will get them into trouble and find themselves in the wrong side of the law. It's very important that they take that into account, because on Wednesday is back to school, so it's important that they take care of themselves.
And Mr. Mhlanga, in not trying to fuel fire, of course, sometimes during protests and things like that, there are people who've expressed, for instance, that they hope there won't be any looting. Sometimes school infrastructure is also then victim to protests if they turn violent. Are you hoping that there'll be enough security around schools to make sure that this doesn't happen?
In fact, we have been participating in all meetings of net joints. We have a requirement to report any incidents of damage to school or any vandalism or any looting that could occur. So we are urging all our stakeholders, school communities, parents, neighbors, especially those that live in and around where schools are located, to make sure that they look out for the school, because if the damage takes place, it is their own children who are going to suffer the consequences. So we are saying that please refrain from damaging schools. In fact, refrain from damaging anything and anyone. Let it be a peaceful protest if you want to participate in it. We shouldn't be turning on anyone or any property, private or public. Let's just be peaceful and express ourselves in a peaceful manner. So we don't expect that there will be any damage or any looting. But of course, even when we make these types of appeals, some people still go on to do it. But the police have committed to acting on every information that we are going to provide to them that could result in the damage to property.
More especially, Mr. Mhlanga, I understand, this would also just add to the already strained budget for basic education after the flooding, for instance, in KZN, that made that long waiting list or that backlog of infrastructure, it worsened it then. So, for South Africans to probably just make sure that they help the education department by staying away from schools on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely correct. It's always been a setback, because in cases like this one, the schools that are targeted are schools that are in a good condition, which means those that are yet to be fixed, it will take even longer for us to get to them, because when a school is in a good condition and we damage it, we are forced to repair it. And that delays the process of the provision of much needed school infrastructure in other schools that have already been on the waiting list and are waiting change to come to them. So we are pleading with our citizens, South Africans, to please conduct ourselves with respect property, respect yourself. And when we do that, we are able to return from the protest, return from the holiday, and continue with business without any further delays resulting from the damage that would have occurred. So we are saying to them, please, if you are going to participate, make sure that you stay away from damaging property and looting. I mean, we have experienced situations where people attack schools, break in and take our food that is meant for our learners through the school nutrition program. That is really a shame, because that food is also meant for the poor learners. Equipment is also stolen, which becomes a setback to the school as it seeks to go forward in terms of providing facilities that are needed for teaching and learning. So we are saying, just simply stay away from our schools, stay away from public property, conduct your protest if you want to be part of it, but don't damage anything. Please, we plead with you.
And just lastly, your message to teachers. I mean, for instance, our understanding is that SAFTU is supporting the national shutdown. They have a lot of affiliates, some of them being teachers' unions, no matter how small or big. What's your message to teachers who are likely to participate, especially because, South Africans would like to see something change when it comes to our power crisis. But of course, we have the responsibility maybe as well to make sure that we are able to get back to work at least and continue teaching the children from Wednesday.
Well, everyone has the right to express themselves in whatever way, including in marches or protests that are taking place. If it's done orderly, peacefully, there shouldn't be any problem. People are free to associate themselves with whatever organization that stands for something at any given time. So there's no restriction there, whether you're a teacher, police officer, or nurse, or whatever, whoever it is that you are. If you've got permission to participate in the strike, you have not been classified as an essential worker, then you can go and do what you want to do. But make sure that you don't infringe on the rights of other people. Make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble because there will be repercussions if you break the law or contravene policies or you do something that has a criminal intent in it.
Just lastly, Mr. Mhlanga, I want to go back for clarity to my first question. There are schools, for instance, where matriculants are spending extra time at school for obvious reasons. This is a very important year for the matric class of 2023, etc. And in some schools, learners would still be on the school premises on Saturdays, Sundays, public holidays, etc. So are we sure that all schools, even though the decision is up to the school, of course, that all schools will make sure that even those matriculants who want extra time won't be on school grounds on Monday?
Myself, I'm in a school which is in my village here. It's called Area B in Bushbuck Ridge. There's absolutely nothing here that's happening that could be affected by the shutdown. Even if the school principal here, whose office is just here, were to decide that the learners come to the school, nothing would happen because everyone here has agreed that there shouldn't be any disruptions to schools. Or learning and teaching, even if it's for matric, who will be coming here on Monday or Sunday or whatever day. So there are such areas where there will be no impact at all. In fact, people will only see it on TV or hear about it on radio, but they won't experience it in real terms because it won't reach this particular part of the country. So if you are in this village where I grew up, I can tell you that there's not going to be anything that will disrupt learning, even if learners were to come here on Monday. So there are places like that where there's not going to be any disruption of any type whatsoever. So where the principal and the SGB feel that they should be schooling on Monday and it is safe to do so and the community will protect the school, then they should go ahead and do that.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Elijah Mhlanga. He is the national spokesperson of the Department of Basic Education.